Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. Oh, wait a minute, let's get something straight here. I was addressing people individually for the longest time, but now I'm putting it out there. Listen, I appreciate y'all showing love, hopping on my channel, listening to my stories and whatnot. But if you have a problem with the way I read or how my content is, there's thousands of YouTube channels. You do not have to be on my YouTube channel at all. Nobody's forcing you, nobody's making you. Nobody asked you to. You know what I mean? Don't come at me with rude comments and this and that. Now, let's continue. This is a story of pop singer Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey was born on March 27, 1969, is an American singer, songwriter, record producer, and actress. An influential figure in popular music, she is known for her 5-octave vocal range, melismatic singing style, and signature use of the whistle register. She is also credited with influencing vocal styles, merging hip hop with pop through her collaborations, popularizing remixes, and helping break down racial barriers for multiracial Americans and pop culture. Referred to as the Songbird Supreme by Guinness World Records, she was ranked as the 5th greatest singer of all time by Rolling Stone in 2023 and has been dubbed the Queen of Christmas for the enduring popularity of her Christmas music, particularly the 1994 song All I Want for Christmas Is You, which is the best-selling holiday song by a female artist. Mariah rose to fame in the summer of 1990 with her self-titled debut album under the guidance of Columbia Records executive Tommy Mottola, whom she later married in 93. She's the only artist to date to have their first 5 singles to reach #1 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100. From Vision of Love to Emotions, she gained worldwide success with her albums Music Box in 93 and Daydream in 95, both of which ranked among the best-selling albums and spawned singles such as Dream Lover, Without You, Fantasy, Always Be My Baby, that was my joint, and One Sweet Day. The latter most of these topped the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 Decade End chart of the 1990s. After separating from Tommy Mottola, Mariah adopted a new urban image and began incorporating more hip hop and R&B elements with the releases of Butterfly in 97 and Rainbow in 99. By the conclusion of the 90s, Billboard ranked her as the most successful artist of the decade in the United States. She left Columbia Records in 2001 after 11 consecutive years of U.S. #1 singles and signed a record deal with Virgin Records. Following a highly publicized breakdown in the failure of her 2001 film Glitter and its accompanying soundtrack, Virgin bought out Mariah's contract and she signed with Island Records the following year. After a brief, mildly successful period, she returned to the top of the charts with the Emancipation of Mimi in 2005, which became one of the best-selling albums of the 21st century. Its second single, We Belong Together, topped the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 Decade End chart of the 2000s. Her subsequent ventures included roles in the films Precious in 2009, The Butler in 2013, A Christmas Melody in 2015, and the Lego Batman movie in 2017. Being an American Idol judge, starring in the docuseries Mariah's World, performing multiple concert residencies, and publishing the memoir The Meaning of Mariah Carey in 2020. She is one of the best-selling music artists with over 220 million records sold worldwide and is an inductee of the Songwriters Hall of Fame, the National Recording Registry at the Library of Congress, and the Long Island Music and Entertainment Hall of Fame. In 2019, Billboard dubbed her the top charting female solo artist based on both album and song chart success. She holds the record for the most Billboard Hot 100 #1 singles by a solo artist at number 19, a female songwriter at number 18, and a female producer at number 15, spending a record 93 weeks atop the chart. Mariah Carey is the highest certified female artist in the United States and 10th overall, with 75 million certified album units. Among her accolades are 6 Grammy Awards, including the Global Impact Award, 10 American Music Awards, 20 Billboard Music Awards, and 12 Guinness World Records. Mariah was born in Huntington, New York. Her name is derived from the song They Called the Wind, Maria, originally from the 1951 Broadway musical Paint Your Wagon. She's the youngest of 3 children born to Patricia maiden name Hickey, a former opera singer and vocal coach of Irish descent, and Alfred Roy Carey, an aeronautical engineer of both African American and Afro-Venezuelan lineage. The surname Carey was adopted by her Venezuelan grandfather, Francisco Nunez, after he immigrated to New York. Her mama, Patricia's family, disowned her for marrying a black man. Racial tensions prevented the Carey family from integrating into their community, During the family's car in Huntington, New York, their racist neighbors poisoned the family dog and set their car on fire. After her parents' divorce, she had little contact with her father, and her mother worked several jobs to support the family. Mariah spent much of her time at home alone and began singing at age 3, often imitating her mother's take on Verdi's opera Rigoletto in Italian. Her older sister, Allison, moved in with their father, while Mariah and her older brother, Morgan, lived with their mother. During her years in elementary school, she excelled in the arts such as music and literature. She began writing poetry and lyrics while attending high school in Green Lawn, New York, where she graduated in 1987. She began vocal training under the tutelage of her mother. Though she was a classically trained opera singer, Patricia Carey never pressured her daughter to pursue a career in classical opera. Mariah recalled that she had never been a pushy mom. In high school, she was often absent because of her work as a demo singer. This led to her classmates giving her the nickname Mirage. Working in a Long Island music scene gave her opportunities to work with musicians such as Gavin Christopher and Ben Margules, whom she co-wrote material for her demo tape. After moving to New York City, she worked part-time jobs to pay her rent and completed 500 hours of beauty school. She moved into a one-bedroom apartment in Manhattan with 4 female students as roommates. She landed a gig singing backup for freestyle singer Brenda K. Starr. In December 1988, Mariah Carey accompanied Brenda Starr to a music executives party, where she handed her demo tape to the head of Columbia Records, Tommy Mottola. After listening to the tape during the ride home, he immediately requested the driver to turn around. She had already left the party, and in what has been described as a modern day Cinderella story, he spent 2 weeks looking for her. Another record label expressed interest, and a bidding war ensued. Tommy Mottola signed her to Columbia and enlisted producers Rick Wake, Rada Michael Walden, and Rhett Lawrence for her first album. Columbia marketed Mariah as the main female artist on their roster, competing with Arista's Whitney Houston and Madonna of Sire Records. On June 5th, 1990, Mariah made her first appearance on the 1990 NBA Finals singing America the Beautiful. The highlight was the piercing whistle note toward the song's conclusion, sparking CBS Sports anchor Pat O'Brien to declare, "The Palace now has a queen." Columbia Records spent an upward of $1 million promoting Mariah's debut album, Mariah Carey. After a slow start, the album eventually topped the Billboard 200 for 11 consecutive weeks. After her exposure at the 33rd Annual Grammy Awards, where she won the award for Best New Artist and Best Female Pop Vocal Performance for her single, Vision of Love, the album singles, Vision of Love, Love Takes Time, Someday, and I Don't Want to Cry, all topped the U.S. charts. She was the best-selling album in the United States in 1991 and achieved worldwide sales of 15 million copies. The following year, her second album, Emotions, was released. Mariah Carey employed the help of 2 members of CNC Music Factory. Her relationship with Ben Margolis dissipated over a songwriting royalties dispute. After he filed the lawsuit against Columbia's parent company, Sony, the songwriting duo parted ways. Emotions was released September 17, 1991. The title track, the album's lead single, became her 5th chart topper on the Billboard Hot 100. Emotions failed to reach the commercial and critical heights of its predecessor. She didn't embark on a world tour to promote the album, although attributed to the stage fright and the vocally challenging nature of her material. Speculation grew that she was a studio worm and that she was incapable of producing the perfect pitch and 5-octave vocal range for which she was known. In '94, Mariah recorded and released a duet with Luther Vandross, a cover of Lionel Richie and Diana Ross's Endless Love. Merry Christmas was released on November 1st, 1994. It became the best-selling Christmas album, with global sales of over 15 million copies. The lead single, All I Want for Christmas Is You, became a holiday standard and continues to climb in popularity every holiday season. In 2019, 25 years after the song's release, it finally peaked at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for the first time, and it continues to do so every December since, becoming the first song in history to hold the top position in more than 2 different chart years. Carey's 5th studio album, Daydream, found her consolidating creative control over her career, leading to tensions with Columbia. The departure from her allegiance to pop and gravitated heavily towards R&B and hip hop. The third single from the album, Always Be My Baby, became Mariah's 11th chart topper, tying her with Madonna and Whitney Houston for the most #1 singles among female artists at the time. Her subsequent musical release followed the trend that began with Daydream. Her music began relying less on pop and adult contemporary tinge balladry and instead incorporating heavy elements of hip hop and R&B. On Butterfly, she collaborated with a beefy of producers other than her original producers, such as Diddy, Q-Tip, Missy Elliott, and John Claude Oliver and Samuel Barnes from Trackmasters. In mid 1997, after 4 years of marriage, Mariah and Tommy separated. She described him as increasingly controlling and viewed her newfound independence as a new lease on life. In the booklet of her 12th studio album, Memoirs of an Imperfect Angel, in 2009, she wrote that she considers Butterfly her magnum opus and a turning point on both her life and career. After concluding her Butterfly World Tour, participated in the VH1 Divas Benefit Concert on April 14, 1998, where she sang alongside Aretha Franklin, Celine Dion, Shania Twain, Gloria Estefan, and Carole King. Mariah began conceptualizing a film project, All That Glitters, later retitled To Glitter, in 2001, and wrote songs for other projects such as Men in Black in 97 and How the Grinch Stole Christmas in 2000. Glitter fell into developmental hell. She postponed the project and began writing material for a new album. With only one album left to fulfill her contract with Sony, and with a burning desire to separate herself professionally from the record label her ex-husband still headed, she completed the album in 3 months. In mid 99, titled Rainbow, the album found her exploring with producers whom she had not worked with before. She received Billboard's Artist of the Decade Award and the World Music Award for Best Selling Pop Female Artist of the Millennium, and parted from Columbia Records. She signed an unprecedented 80 million five-album contract with Virgin Records in April 2001. In July 2001, she suffered a physical and emotional breakdown. She began posting disturbing messages on her website and behaved erratically in live promotional outings. On July 19, she made a surprise appearance on an MTV program, Totally Request Live. As the show's host, Carson Daly, began taping following a commercial break, she came out pushing an ice cream cart while wearing a large men's shirt and began a striptease in which she revealed a tight ensemble. Days later, she posted irregular voice notes on her website. I'm trying to understand things in life right now, and so I really don't feel that I should be doing music right now. What I would like to do is just take a break or at least get one night of sleep without someone popping up about a video. On July 26, she was hospitalized due to exhaustion and a physical and emotional breakdown. She was admitted to a hospital in Connecticut and remained under a doctor's care for 2 weeks, followed by an extended absence from the public. Virgin Records and 20th Century Fox delayed the release of Glitter and its soundtrack. Critics banned Glitter and its soundtrack. Both were unsuccessfully commercial. The soundtrack became Mariah's lowest selling album at that point. She blamed the failure of it being due to her mental state during that time and being released on September 11th. Her record deal with Virgin was bought out for $28 million. She flew to Capri, Italy for 5 months where she wrote material for a new album. She described her time at Virgin a complete and total stress fest, and she never made decisions based on money. She signed a contract with Island Records valued at more than $24 million and launched the record label Monarch C